His Twitch is a small indie website that never gets anything done and needs so much help. Now watch as I die closing this menu. Because Deathlink. Now what's gonna make this interesting is I didn't even get to save before Deathlink killed me. So we have to actually start the file again. This is an archipelago. Somebody else who's death-linked to me died. So I die automatically. Because I was paused, the death hadn't happened yet. So I was letting that happen for funnies. Now you get to see all the things we got from other people while we weren't playing this yet. No, we're just making fun of the fact that Twitch is bad at their job. It's just a running joke a lot of people use. The excuse is usually that something's a small indie company, so you can excuse some bad behaviors or failures. Because Twitch runs so badly most of the time, it runs equivalent or worse than a small indie company is the joke. Let's equip all the random nonsense we've got. Getting Mercury Boots immediately is also very nice. Technically we have things that are stronger. No, actually, yeah, the Milliken Sword is slightly stronger, but does the same thing as the Medusa Whip. So we'll just use that. Hey, my own Aquarius Stone. Which is actually what matches my sign. And Cryptic Castle Cream to Shadow the Hedgehog. Yeah, ads be happening. I shouldn't do too much, but I wanted to at least grab these, like, first room checks. Opa to Ama, who... I have to assume that's Sonic Riders at this point, based on the things that have happened there. You know, for the funnies, actually, we'll use Steel Ball for a bit. And so we'll clip Charlotte while we're waiting. I don't have the stone, the cube to switch to Charlotte, so all this stuff she has is useless to us, arguably, right now. Oh, actually, no, you can go ahead and wear those. Because we don't have double jump, so the kicking bonus doesn't actually matter. Yeah, the opening bits here don't really matter that much. There's not a lot of anything interesting that's gonna happen, so we're just gonna boogie so we can make progress. Afterburners for Wintergust Valkyries. Progressive mission key for Wintergust, so that's actually important. There was a lot of important things just right here at the beginning of my game. So clearly I should have went to Portrait of Ruin sooner. But that's kind of the feeling I was having the whole time when... And I was not getting anything of merit in... Tactics. It be what it be. I'll explain things in a little more detail when the ads end about some of the settings we have for this and some of the neat things about this for Archipelago. But first, we have to run for our lives away from that thing. Welcome back from the ads, everybody. I grabbed a few of the beginning checks because they were all, like, just sitting out in the open checks. And we did get a couple good things for people. Nothing, like, holy shit. But I wanted to get to a save point before Deathlink killed me again, and I had to restart the file again. checkpoint trap for Terra in Shadow the Hedgehog. And there we go. Introductory chase out of the way. So our settings for this is, you'll notice we have the whole castle map straight away. We have to go beat Dracula. That's our goal. But in order to be able to fight Dracula, we have to A, get a key for his room up there, and B, beat a certain amount of the portraits scattered around the world here, hence the name Portrait of Ruin. So that's our whole end game here. Since I already have high jump, I can go basically anywhere I would want. And the little bit I couldn't go to with high jump, I can get to with Toad Morph. Wow, there are so many purple checks here at the beginning of this goddamn game. This is ridiculous. Like, we've already sent more useful things out of this than we did in the entire 3 hours of playing Tactics today, if that tells you anything about how wacky the checks are here. Is we got the Ice Element Medal for Luigi's Mansion, we got Ice for Super Metroid. I don't really know what Glass Cannon has for Clair Obscur, but that's a thing. We have found a Triforce piece. The mission key I mentioned for Winter Gust in StarCraft 2. Opa Opa, our own Aquarius Stone. Which, if I tried to beat Final Fantasy Tactics without ever starting this, we would not actually be able to finish because that Aquarius Stone would have been missing.
How are things?
Go ahead and grab our quests. Okay, good. The quests are actually working properly this time. This is going to be a thing for a second here because I have all the quests activated. So I can just collect them all, and as I complete them, go turn them in here for checks for people. So just get used to him saying the same, like, half a second of dialogue for a minute here. We're almost done. There we go. Now, our shop is actually randomized as well, though there's always potions and tonics here and the castle map. And there's guaranteed to be a claymore so you can break floor pieces, so we'll grab that. And the other guaranteed items were at least one sub-weapon, but we already have some sub-weapons. Exactly. We have an interesting batch of things in here, but none of them are anything I particularly need. Actually, I'm gonna grab the Kestis for another quest, because I know it'll be useful. There we go. Yeah, all of our relics are out there in the world somewhere. All of our portraits are shuffled. As you might have noticed, our quests all give different things. So we actually found an air fleet alien for Shadow the Hedgehog instead of our normal quest reward there. Not that the reward from preparation would have been anything really of note anyway. But one of the neat things is we have two special items for Archipelago, and that is the magical ticket, which ordinarily does exist, but this one's infinite use. I can always go back to the shop automatically. And we have this enchanted gemstone, which brings you back to the beginning of the portrait. Well, what part doesn't make sense there, Natra? I can probably explain better if you have a specific question. I just don't know what the specific answer you need is. Like, is it the randomization that's confusing, or is it how things are connected that's the problem? We can't go in here right now. It's literally just a matter of there's a single server that we all connect to that just passes the information of what got found and then activates it in each game, basically. It's not literally passing the items, it's just queuing the randomizer to know you have the item, basically. Argo, thank you for the raid. I take it you are out of what you can do for the moment yourself. Argo, of course, is also participating in his own Dragon Pelago, as you might imagine. But welcome in, everybody. I just hopped over to Portrait of Ruin, so you're just in time for the beginning of that. And I was just explaining what all my settings and such here were. Ah, that's fair. There, Argo. But thank you so much for the raid, and if you need to take a rest and raid and run and all that, please make sure to take care of yourselves. It should always be your first priority. You know, you're right, Kissy Ray, that is true. I have heard this to be told before. Yeah, I'll quickly reiterate the short form of the settings here for Portrait of Ruin for everybody coming in. I have to beat Dracula, which is my end goal here. I have to beat a certain amount of my portraits in this game in order to open Dracula, as well as finding his boss key. Boss keys don't normally exist in this game, but thanks to Archipelago, they do. So that's a whole thing. Sadly, I cannot do the Jonathan Charlotte meme because I don't have the cube yet. That's tossed out there in the world somewhere to be found eventually. Soon, TM, hopefully.
Why not simply destroy them?
Look, if I could just destroy the paintings and win, I would. But how's everybody doing? Hopefully you're all doing well. And I did see a bunch of familiar faces popping up in there, and you're all getting your shout-outs because you deserve them. Oh, Winter... Or actually, I did just get you another mission key. I don't know if you've still been actively pushing away at StarCraft, but I did see that pop up just as I started this up. So that may be handy for you. No idea which one that'll end up opening for you, but it exists. It's there. The first, like, 2 rooms of this had, like, 12 purple checks in it. It was ridiculous. Let's head on off this way, because we can't go into the first portrait, because we can't slide. Ordinarily, you would learn to slide from the first quest with Wind there. That's what preparation usually gets you. But all my quests are randomized and all of that, so it's a whole thing. Shops randomized. All of the monster drops are randomized, but they won't be things for other people, they're just things for me. There wasn't an option to make them things for everyone, otherwise I would have considered doing that for the funnies. Instead, I have to move via concussion, because I have high jump but not double jump, so I just go everywhere by slamming myself into the ceiling. Whee! There we go, turned her to stone. And we get... Just thinking about it. Requiem of Spirit for Draco. For anybody who wants to see the checks that are popping up, by the way, it is down there in the bottom right corner. Ah, okay, it's just next in order, okay. Makes sense. And yeah, considering the pacing for that, it makes sense to have that as a off-screen wind-down game. That absolutely makes sense. I'm probably going to be doing similar a bunch with my Final Fantasy Tactics seed. I started it off so people got to see it, but it'll probably be as much in my own time as anything. Especially considering all I have is knights. So it's a very slow plot of destruction. That's good, Natra. I knew you'd eventually get out of that cave. And now you'll be on to the next worst cave. Ankle bite, ankle bite, ankle bite, ankle bite, ankle bite. Back to ankle bite. Ow. Ankle bite, ankle bite. You'll die eventually. Your ankles can only sustain so much. There we go. And we got Knee Strike, which is never gonna get used. Brando... There's Chroma Crystals. Okay. I just need to make sure to heal periodically so I don't die. There we go. A Sundae and a melon, and we're back in full strength. Yep, that's how it goes. You'll be well prepared, and then suddenly nothing happens. Hey, look at it this way. That meant you guaranteed got out of the cave. Oh yeah, fun thing about this high jump is it actually is an attack as well, by the way. So that's nifty. It's not a very good attack, but it's an attack. Just gonna do this to get across this room so I don't have to deal with it. What? How what? That there are many things that there might be questions about. I only can answer some of them. Is the stupid thing about the high jump, if that's what's confusing, is you can use it as much as you want. It doesn't have a limit. So you could just keep bashing into the ceiling as much as you want. And if you're good at mashing buttons like I am, I could just kind of squeeze through. Oh, okay. That's the how you're talking about. It just be that way sometimes. Because you might think that the way Final Fantasy 1 works makes sense, and you'd be incorrect. It does not. It very much does what it wants. People, I'm sure, have figured out the logic of it, but I stand by the it does what it wants. Context statement about what we have here, by the way, for those coming in. Before I even started this game, somebody found me this high jump. Yes. If you wipe, you go back to whenever you last saved. That could be very, very long ago. The game does not care. Save often, or you will be punished. And remember that tents also save, so... You will want to use a tent before you go into anywhere for your own sanity. Welcome to one of my least favorite portraits, by the way. The Nation of Fools. It's a circus. It's a nightmare. The second version of this that you have to go to is worse. But this place is just kind of annoying to navigate. The map makes it look simple to navigate, but it all twists in and on itself and constantly loops around, and it's just generally a nuisance. Aren't we all there, Nacho? Aren't we all? That leads back down to the portrait. There's the warp room. Even the portrait worlds have their own warp rooms. They only connect to themselves, though. They do not connect to other warp rooms, like in the castle or anything. So they're not as useful as you might think. But they are still useful if you are struggling in a portrait and have to warp out, or you hit a point where you can't continue within a portrait. I was talking about this a little bit earlier, but Portrait of Ruin's kind of a funny one as far as these games go. Is a lot of the portraits don't need much of any abilities to complete them. So the randomization mostly matters in terms of difficulty for me. Not so much what I can and can't access. The castle itself is the main thing where I'm going to be locked out of a couple places until I get one or two things more. the main thing I need to finish being able to traverse the castle is the ability to actually use that toad morph, or getting slide. Alternatively, I need strength to be able to push a couple things to be able to finish traversing the castle on the other path. Because there's two major paths through this castle, specifically. See, I went in here figuring it was going to be like the test seeds I did, and there was actually going to be important checks in here. And so far, it's looking like the castle itself is where the important checks are in this reality. I've also got to be kind of careful, because I have Deathlink on for those coming in late. So we died literally in the room where you start the game before I even could be attacked by anything because of Deathlink. So I had to start the file twice. It was a whole thing. Do I want to go this way or the other way? The other way's faster. I don't think there's an item in the other path at all, so there's no point in going the other way. There's this one right here, though, which was a purple rupee for winter. Hooray! Enjoy your slightly increased money. Unless your wallet's full, in which case it's on the floor now. But, you know, the floor needs money too, right? Harry, pick me up for Astral. I don't really need to specifically say Time Spinner, because I think Astral's just playing 3 Time Spinners this time. I don't know if there's anything else. Random defense for one of our Claire Obscure players, okay. And B-Trap, hooray! Joyous day. That's always fun, isn't it, Maury? Thank you for this thing. It's on the floor now, but thank you. Oh boy. Ooh. Random beehive, let's go. So ordinarily you have to break this big beehive in one of the areas repeatedly to get that beehive to complete that quest. Turns out the Medusa head just has it.
Why not simply destroy them?
That's what I'm saying, Cassius. Just destroy everything. If I destroy everything, then I have nothing to worry about. And I take it from the amount of y'all that are here that either you've all been passing into each other or along the way, or you've all just happened to wrap up for the day. Exactly, Kaz. Yes, exactly. When in doubt, simply burn them. Everybody out here supporting each other, as we should. Do I have any healing left? That's a bad sign. So anyway, you know that magic ticket I've got? Poof, gone. Don't need to be there anymore. Let's, you know, maybe buy a healing item or two. There you go. See what our quest reward is.
You're back. Well done.
We got stronger and got a stick. Enjoy your singular additional stick. Now, the good news is there is a warp room near there, but we're actually not going to go back into Nation of Fools right now. I'll come back to there when I have a few more healing items. Let's clear more of the castle first, because there's a ton of checks we can clean up out here. And I don't even really have to fight anything. Technically, I should fight things to level, but level's not a huge concern for us. And we will get plenty of levels just by existing as we go. It's also just too funny to just dodge everything by just punching the ceiling constantly. Accelerating last stand. Okay. They're trying to jump backwards and they couldn't fit through there, so they were having a whole time there. Oh, that's something to note. This is where I would have been using Toad Morph, by the way, to cross over to this section of the castle. If I end up in a place where I end up sliding crouched somewhere, I will get stuck. That has happened to me in both test seeds. Good luck, worth work, Natra. I will have to magical ticket out of wherever I end up getting stuck. It doesn't happen often, but there are a couple of places where you can just end up wedging yourself. And it's very silly. All because the game expects you to ordinarily have slide very early. Which, of course, we don't. We just don't even have it at all. HP up for Terra's Pokemon Black. But yeah, this staircase here, for example, is just littered with checks on all these ledges. So far, you know, nothing good, but there could be something good. Like my Holy Lightning, which is one of my preferred duo moves to use, so that's actually nice to have. In fact, it looks like I can't actually use Dark Gate to be funny like I was going to. So we'll just swap off of that. Oh wait, no, I think I can't even use those duo moves yet. Anyway, now that I think about it, I think I'm missing something for that. So, you may be wondering how I got knocked out of that room. I technically traversed to this room, but that Ukobak was in the transition path, so technically it was still able to knock me back out of this room, even though it should have been unloaded. It's very funny how those things happen. But I want to keep tagging these warp rooms along the way so that I can get back here if I need to run off. I want to see what the portrait over here is, in the hopes that it's an easy portrait to clear out. To get us some good results quickly. Because, you know, when in doubt, do all your quick stuff first, and then dig into the more irritating things afterwards. Hey, another trap. What do you know? Though some may say that the smart move would be to get the irritating things out of the way first, and to that I say it depends on the irritating thing. Yep, that skeleton had a dress. That one also has a dress. Could open a fashion store at this rate. I think I have this boss key, don't I? Adaptive plating for roaches. And a purple rupee. And yeah, that's a boss door there. That would ordinarily be blocking us from getting across here. But I think I do have the key for that. I'm just not going to deal with it right now. Because we can go around it anyway, so there's not a ton of reason to deal with it at this exact second. Not without me going and finding a save room nearby first. Which you'd ordinarily be going into there from the left. So there's a save room right there. Down and left of it. Important thing I should have explained as well. You may notice there's only one screen, and I can pull up the map on the single screen. Just like the other DS Castlevania we covered on here in Archipelago. This has a single screen mode thanks to Archipelago. So I can run everything on just this one screen instead of having to fit both on stream for y'all. Which is why I can actually show you the map properly. We do miss out on having the bestiary conveniently on the screen, but it's fine. Is the top screen would otherwise be showing the bestiary entry of whatever I'm hitting, or the map. Those are the two things it flips between. But instead, it plays more or less like the Game Boy Advance games instead now. Which, nice thing to note, is the bestiaries do update for the randomized items that they have. So we can keep track of what drops what a bit easier that way, and what actually has drops. What I mean by that is if we hop over here to this list, you notice the zombies do actually have 2 drops. One really rare one and one pretty common one. Bats have a drop. It can randomize where things that ordinarily would have a drop don't as well, because in my test seed, the zombies had no drops at all. So everybody's got something to offer right now, it looks like, so that's good. We already got the only thing on offer from the Great Armors. Okay, the Capellias that spawn infinitely from the cannons don't have anything. I think they're never going to have anything since they infinite spawn, I'm not sure. Now then again, Medusa heads infinite spawn and they had the beehive, so eh. And of course bosses won't have specific drops either because, well, they're bosses. You only get one shot at it. Oh, there's our nun shoes. That's actually bad. Actually, no, it's fine. I was gonna say it's bad because of the fact that we already had a pair of those, but we don't. There's a quest where I need a full... It was the nun robes we had. That's what had me confused. We just need the habit then to complete the nun quest then. Let's go ahead and hop into this portrait because this one should be pretty straightforward to clear. This is a later stage. This is the reversed version of the first portrait you go into. Oh wait, no, we can't go into this one at all. There's a very big problem that you'll see in about 5 seconds, preventing us from actually clearing this one too. I forgot that this is a thing. Choo-choo! There's a train. So yeah, you can't actually go into 13th Street at all until you can deal with the train. I forgot about the train. Never mind. This has happened every time. Even in the test seat, I forgot about the goddamn train, so I just got jump scared by it and thrown out of that portrait. So let's see, other places that there's a portrait are up above us. There's one in that little inset bit where we couldn't get to because of toad form, which we cannot actually reach up there right now. We need either the call cube or the swap cube to be able to get in there at this point, because we need Charlotte to be able to cast the spell. Like, in practical terms right now, Charlotte basically doesn't exist. She will theoretically eventually exist for us. In fact, technically in order to finish this, I'm going to have Charlotte do something. I think in order to get to enough portraits to beat Dracula, I'm going to need to do a specific thing. But we'll get into that when it becomes a relevant problem. The short version is there's something you have to do to avoid the bad ending that I'll have to do in order to access the rest of things. Stopless alien and a circus park soldier. I've had a lot of things for Terra's Shadow the Hedgehog in both my games, I've noticed. Like, it seems like my worlds are very heavily attached to Terra and Litru out of what I have of being sent out for the most part. Like, that seems to be the main ones I have any real benefit for within this seed's logic. Let's go down to the bottom of the castle here. If it's the boss I think it is over there, because my bosses aren't shuffled, there is no boss rando for this, otherwise I would have turned that on. It's mostly just shuffled because of the fact that my memory is terrible. That's the main reason I don't know which boss this is. Yeah, it's this guy. This is gonna be just fine. In fact, before we do anything, push this over. Because this boss is actually very simple. Just push the pot over here so we have a nice easy reach. And then you just whack the pot a few times. Wakey wakey. Out comes the boss. You want these platforms so that you can hit him and avoid him pretty much freely is the idea. Let's equip something a little bit better for this job though, shall we? Not weapon-wise. We don't have anything better weapon-wise. The cross, however, will do a great job. You don't want these slimes getting back to the body either, if you can help it. I forget exactly what they do if they get back, but it's just not a good thing. But yeah, you can more or less do this fight without getting hit, as long as you pay any attention to what you're doing. And move the pot over like I did here. Rushing over to hit that, though, will occasionally get me tapped a bit. Come on. Wakey wakey. We just repeat this process until he's dead, basically, and we'll be good to go on this one. Oh, right, he does have an attack that goes down that way. That's why I usually jump more. Right. Because it encourages him to do that attack more. He's dead. There you go. Nice and easy. Pot explodes, we get our orb. And now we have free access to cross between these two sides. Mind Refresh Ultra for Astral. Now, admittedly, we could have gotten around to here by going the long way around, well, the shorter way around, arguably, from the main castle bit we were in before. Though that involves a different fight to get there, and I think I don't have the key for that one. You know, it makes a decent degree of sense to get those shoes from these maids, now that I think about it. Because it's a similar shoe style, I would figure. There's another warp room. So remember, every boss door needs a key. Despite the fact that that's not normally the case. That was actually added in an update right before we got started. That was the major update that happened before a very tiny update last night, more or less. Actually, it wasn't last night, it was the day before, but six and one half dozen the other. That was an update we didn't end up taking because it was very close to start time and I didn't want to risk any surprises for the very small changes that it was going to make. And there's the other problem with getting across. Jonathan, not strong, cannot push single block. You need either strength or the push cube to be able to move things like that. Because you need either teamwork or magic to push things like that out of your way. Now, there is a use to having extra copies of things in this, by the way, because I can sell them off to the priest to get more money to get more healing items, so getting more copies of those shoes is actually not a bad thing. If we go back... Oh, hey, we're on the wrong side of this room. Ordinarily, you'd be coming in from the right here. But hi, Death. Death's here. Because, you know, it wouldn't be Castlevania without Death just kind of hanging out doing things. The whole bit here, or by the way, for those who have not seen Portrait of Ruin before, the short version is Dracula's power is actually being stolen by somebody else named Browner right now. And that's where the portraits come in. The portraits are sapping the castle's magic right now. More on that as we go, but that's the main thrust of what's happening right now. Grab that. Grab what's down the hole. A random card and some grass. Hooray. Yeah, when you're going through one of these games, always have something that lets you hit the floor. Because there are so many things hidden in the floor. And the always spotting the hidden rooms, by the way, that's another setting. Ordinarily, you'd have to have a specific item to be able to see the breakable walls. I didn't want to have to remember them all, because my memory is terrible these days. So I just have a setting that makes them all have that effect constantly. It's just much more convenient. Because it would be that, or y'all would see me hitting every wall or staring at a map. Those would be the options. One gold bar, our cutlass. Yeah, I'm figuring I'll play this for 3 hours and then we'll wrap up for the day, more than likely, so like 9 o'clock my time will be stopping, give or take. So essentially 2 hours from now for anybody who is thinking of needing to run off to do anything and is wondering whether this will still be going when you come back. There's your easy calculation of will this still be happening. His 6 hours today, I think, is a good amount. So for anybody involved in the archipelago, if you end up needing something, just ping me and I will go fetch. Assuming it's possible, of course, you know. There's always that world where something's just, like, out of reach completely. I've not seen any hints that popped that have any need of me yet. I don't think. Hello, Golem. Goodbye, Golem. I hit the floor again. I would like to find a better big sword so I can avoid the switching, but it's fine. Antidote. I also have not seen anything else happen for tactics yet. I've been keeping an eye out for any jobs popping up. No such luck yet. Not that we would immediately switch, but I would make note of it. Because we certainly have a lot of progress we can make here. Yeah, we want to go this way. You would think with how many times I've booted this recently, I would actually just be able to just fly around, but I always open the map for just a bit of reassurance more than anything. Aggressive bomb shoe bag and black iron armor. That bomb shoe bag might be useful. It depends on whether a bomb shoe bag has been found at all before that. Because I know having bomb shoes at all is very nice in either game, really. Especially if you don't have any other bombs at all. There we go. We went backwards through the buried chamber. Oh, look at that. Argo's iron boots. That'll probably be useful. Knock, knock. Resplendent Chroma Catalyst 5. Okay. And yeah, there's the boss room I was talking about. Do I have any healing, really? I've got some pasta carbonara. And I still have my one potion. Yeah, we could probably do this then. And we do have the key, okay. We have to fight this thing, the thing we ran away from at the beginning of the game. It guards this arena here. It likes to spit meatballs and jump at you. This thing could arguably be a mild gore warning as well. In part because it's a creature split in half, and in part because it does some weird attacks. It's dead. Just ran headlong into the spear. We are way stronger than we're supposed to be for that fight, as you might imagine. But now we have free passage from one end of the castle to the other at the bottom here. And Relic Crown. Isn't that one of the ones that's just something you sell to maniacs? I feel like that's that one. Spoilers, I do not remember or know much about half the Pokemon games, so... You would think I would have absorbed that information with the amount of times I've watched people play Pokemon randos at this point, but it doesn't stick. Just doesn't stick for some reason. Pieces do, and then the rest of it just kind of falls off. Yeah, now we're back to the other side of that door we were looking at before, with the block. So our options right now is... The room up and right from here still needs to be looked at, and the Nation of Fools are pretty much our only moves here. That room below the starting room is only accessible once a certain amount of portraits have been activated, because that's technically a bonus area down there. That is where the Nest of Evil is, if I remember right. Which is... I don't want to call it a post-game area, but I think it more or less is. It's an extra really hard area, basically. Which, fun fact about my life choices, the painting that's in the Nest of Evil room that actually contains the Nest of Evil itself is out there somewhere. It's randomized, so I could run into that at any point. Any painting I run into might be that one. So, you know, that's a decision I made. Okay, I didn't finish any quests.
I'll make you a deal.
We need all the possible playing cards, by the way, for another quest, in case people are like, why are there random playing cards? Because you need them. There's a lot of odds and ends quests in this that are just kind of there for something to do. In our case, they're there to give extra checks. Yeah, these Europe addresses are worth a lot, so we'll just sell a bunch of those out. Out to have money. But we can't actually sell the nun shoes, so those are useless. Go ahead and buy up to our cap of 9 potions and 9 tonics. Not gonna bother buying foie gras. It is good healing, but it's 10,000 because, you know, fancy food. We do want a blank book because we need the blank book for killing Gorgoth. Not for that one quest. There's nothing else here I really want. Combat boots aren't bad, but I don't need them.
Thank you.
We're basically done with this shop until I either use my potions or we unlock the higher shops, which come after beating certain amounts of portraits from what I recall, so it's gonna be a bit... It's looking like we don't have that many portraits we can actually finish. We do have the ability to finish Nation of Fools, though, because we do have the Circus Key. That was one of the handful of keys we got. Wait, actually, I just realized something. We have Circus Arena. Yeah, that's what I thought. We have Burnt Paradise's key as well. Burnt Paradise, for those who don't know, is that awful place I was talking about that's worse than Nation of Fools, because it's the inversion of Nation of Fools, filled with even more traps and awful things. I hope you like being poisoned, because if you're in Burnt Paradise, you're probably poisoned. If that tells you anything. Like, I would equate it to this game's Poison Swamp, if that helps lend context to those who would understand what that means. Beep. Sprees! I opened the door from the other side. Yeah, I want to go down from this staircase because that's where the checks will be. Yoink. Chaos Rose. Gold Diamond. And... Burpig figurine. Wait, isn't that what... No, it was a Burpig plushie, I think, that Alchemist was looking for earlier. Figurine might be useful, though. I don't know. Yeah, this room's got a couple more checks left in it, like the one right above me. Like, I remember for the most part where items are. I don't remember where doors lead, essentially, is the main thing. Another palm punch trap, which I think is inverted controls. I forget what that one does. I want to say that's what that is. Is you just get drunk and your controls get weird. Now we continue upward. It's kind of funny. I have these shoes that make me move faster on the ground, and I've been spending very little time actually on the ground. Because of starting with the ability to essentially fly, I've had no reason to be on the ground. More back knocks. That's their neat party trick that they can do in addition to the bouncing bullets, by the way, is cling to walls. Another Lost Impact Artificial Chaos. That's like the fourth one I've personally found, I think. Two of which came from the same in battle in Final Fantasy. Windows, shut up. God damn it, I misclicked. Now it's gonna be a pain in the butt. It's fine. Okay, if anybody's worried, don't worry, that was mine that made the noise. You don't need to check anything, everything is okay. It was just a Stream Deck update whining at me that it wants to update. But I've not been using my Stream Deck much because I don't have the model that I was using that needed the toggles anymore, so it's kind of in a holding pattern until I actually set up something that'll use that again. Oh, yeah, actually, you know what? Burnt Paradise won't be so bad. I forgot. I have the immunity ring. I can't be poisoned. Oh, hey, there's another one of those Lost Impact Artificial Chaoses. And yeah, this is the other reason we can't go this way, by the by, is you need strength or teamwork to push that until it hits that little notch down there, and then it would stay. We have no such thing, though, so back we go. What we'll do is we'll go back to the shop, save here, and then we'll use the warp room to go over to Nation of Fools in the hopes of finding something that'll do something there. If there's nothing there that helps at all, and there's nothing sent to us by the time we're done with that, we might actually be BK'd in this, and I should have played this first. Because we haven't received anything vital in this since we started, either. Like, literally the best thing we've had in this, we had before we started, so... Now then again, we did send out some good stuff from the beginning of this, though, so... But then again, that would have been better to have done... Or, irrelevant. Don't worry about it. Thinking too hard about it now. And so the circus is back in town. So I may end up wrapping up earlier than I thought because my throat's starting to get mad at me. That is annoying. We'll see how long I hold out for then. I'm just gonna wait till you shoot that bullet. There you go. Kefei's mask? That is a couple checks in Majora's Mask. This is a quest, by the way. Make the statue whose eyes bleed and bring the tear back, and you get to turn that in. I forget what the reasoning behind that one is. We'll figure that out when we get back to Wind. He'll tell me. If I remember to pay attention, which may or may not happen. Another hero gauge. I still don't know what all those gauge up... I'm assuming those are gauge downs, but they might be gauge ups. I don't know if that's a dash or a minus symbol is the problem with those. So I don't know. I have to assume that's helping because it's not a trap. But I've seen things that aren't traps also be unhelpful before, so I don't know. Painting Guardian gloves for Draco. I doubt those are going to be used because they're not really great armor, I don't think. Actually, is it the Painting Guardians that are the really, like, frail light armor, or is that a different one? I don't remember. I probably should turn around and go get those checks first. This is the annoying thing about this place. You'll notice, if you look at the map, the area to my right and up looks like it's connected in the middle, but it actually is fiddly in the middle there. There's gates in the way, if I'm remembering it right. I don't remember if it's this version of it that has the gates or if it's Burnt Paradise that has the gates. There's a specific way, though, if you go around this place, you can do this whole place in one convenient circuit and then just leave this place and never think about it again. We do have the boss key, though, so technically I could just go kill the boss as well. Which, the bright side is, the boss here is not that bad. And if I break through the boss, I can actually use the central path easier. I know, this is Nope, see, this is the problem. But you can only enter the boss from the top, I think. So there's a wall in the way there. Is there a wall in the way on the bottom, too? No. So I can cross over to this side. As you can see, that's all walled off. This whole place is like this weird void zone where everything's upside down and weird. Aesthetically and idea-wise, I like this place. It's just actually traversing this place itself that I kind of hate. In part because of these fire wheels. They're just hurry up and wait traps, and I just... You know me, I'm impatient. They drive me bananas. Now, technically, I should have gone the other way and stayed where we started. But what I'm going to do is go all the way across the top and then go down and do the boss. Which is not efficient in any way, shape, or form, but I'd have to do it either way. Like, unfortunately, because of the pathing I took, there's no efficient way to do this painting. And I really don't know why they keep giving me this damn painting and not any of the other ones. Well, actually, no, I know exactly why. This is one of the ones that doesn't need anything in particular to do anything with. Most of the other ones do need at least, like, a ability to fully clear it. Outside of the return trips to them. So if they wanted to give me a painting that I could survive and it wouldn't need an item, this is kind of it. Is the return trips like 13th Street? Mostly don't need items. The flipped version of the Dark Academy, for example, I think needs literally nothing to get through it other than either high jump or double jump. Can't get that right now, but it's also not a big thing, so it doesn't matter. We do have ads coming up, so there is going to be a brief period of inactivity, just as a note for anybody that has not been here that much. So if you need to get up and do anything, you may as well do the same as I will end up doing, more than likely. Oh right, there was an item down there. It was just a guided pellet for Ape Escape 3, though. Depends on how many of those Terra has at this point, whether that mattered at all. Healing mail's not bad to have. Walking around heals you wearing that. It's also, you know, better than the casual clothes we're wearing, so... There you go. Now we just automatically regenerate. Not much, though. Not much at all. So... It's only really good in areas where you're pretty safe all the time to deal with, like, chip damage. Okay, nothing under that guy. The ads have started, so we'll put a pin in further activity for a second here. Let's have another look over the bestiary while we wait, because I don't have a reason to get up necessarily at the second. Might be worth chasing down a bunch of skeletons. They might have something good. It's not looking like there's anything that stands out immediately to me, though. The fact that that's a 1-star drop means that might be something good. It depends on whether they actually have them raritied out based on how good they are. Based on how we've been getting some things to drop, I feel like they are full random. So it might not matter. This way you can see all of the descriptions for all these things and things of that nature. Dragon Zombie does have a drop this time, so that might be worth checking too. Like, technically all of these drops are optional. I don't think any of them are going to have something required in them. At least I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's all gear and consumables. But of course, since I've not run this that much yet, I cannot guarantee it. Oh yeah, I did do the Defender of the Stairs quest, so we can do that. There's also some of these command quests you can do, like spinning art, left down, right down, left right, in attack. We don't have the painting for Supersonic Punch yet, nor for Ghosts of the Desert. Or the Zephyr's just doing spinning art 3 times. Martial art is up, left, down, right, so just a full circle, basically. Got a bunch of master different moves ones. There's the nun quest I was talking about, where you bring him 3 nun items and you'll learn a healing spell normally, but it's gonna be a random thing now. 777 money. Spend all your mana. Oh, there we go. That's telling us our Nest of Evil requirement. Just 2 portraits. So that's not too bad to get into there and find out whatever that is. When you're broke as a joke, there's a quest you'll complete with that. Defeat a lot of enemies. Get your stats up. Welcome back from the ads, everybody. We've mostly just been looking over these menus. I forgot I activated the Hands of the Clock quest. That's just play the game at 12. either 12 noon or midnight, and it'll count. Moldy bread, amanita, and a long sword. I have almost all of that. That's the beehive quest we completed already. Need a New York steak for Build Your Strength 2. 5 different kinds of cake. Pray before the cross under the cover of darkness. I don't remember where that cross is. Master Cross, Holy Water, and Bible. 100 different kinds of enemies. Find all the parts of the Tome of Arms. And then just learn a lot of spells and defeat specific enemies. Ooh, we got a few things while we were in that menu. The Attica Helm and Aura Blast. That's obviously way better. Let's go ahead and slap that on my head. We still don't have a second accessory yet. Someday. Meanwhile, back to actually getting things done. Nice, we got an MP max up. We sent out weapon dark hammer ammo boost. Okay. I need to keep going this way. This is an area I'm going to end up missing items in, by the way, because there's so many items like tucked in nooks and crannies in here. And I will forget a piece here, a part there. But I'm going to be doing my best. So if somebody ends up hinting out that there's something in here, I will just come back and get it. Oh, we got the fairy harp for tactics. That's great, except we don't have any bards. But, you know, someday. Worst case, it's good for money. Oh, wait, I have all of the money for days. Still remains the funniest thing about that seed so far is the fact that we have literally an entire nation's worth of cash on hand and nothing to use it for. Okay, now we just clean up the area up there. God damn it. Welcome to another reason why this place sucks. You can just get bounced around like that and have no control over your life, really. You just have to accept the fact that you are now pinball. These rooms are what the uppercut's good for, by the way, because it actually clears fleamen in one hit. So you can actually just kind of like push your way through there instead of getting knocked back like we do against that guy. Makes it easier to get through parts like that without having to stress too badly. Apologies for the yawning if you hear it. I am, as always, tired. Or Chroma Catalyst. Oh, I probably should have mentioned this when the checks for Super Metroid were popping up. But you probably have seen that sub goal popping up occasionally, where if we hit 20 sub points before the end of the month, I will finally do a full playthrough of Super Metroid. I have been very close to finishing that on numerous occasions, but never actually did it, so that would be a way to make that happen. If that is something you want to see. We send Phantom Ganon's soul to Draco of Hark. That's a boss soul right there. I would assume bosses are randomized in that one, so it's not actually going to be Forest Temple, but it would ordinarily be Forest Temple. Let's go fight this boss on the note of bosses. You'll notice there's nothing here. That's weird. Anyway, it's a trap. Suddenly Legion is here. The whole thing with Legion is the pile of bodies here is not actually the enemy. That thing inside the pile of bodies is the enemy. The bodies are merely a shell that protects it. That is Legion in there. Now, if you're wise, you don't break too many of the shell pieces off of it, and you just kill it like this. Is the more of those tendrils you reveal, the more lasers get shot at you. And it'll start doing fun things like spinning and all that. Oh, I broke it. You can defeat it without breaking that shell off, usually. Maybe it's this version of it that you can't do that. Because it looked like that broke off automatically. Yeah, it becomes a whole lot more annoying to get attacks in, because you start having to run from the spinning flames and things like that. With double jump, this would actually be a lot easier to do and still be able to attack. But unfortunately, we have no double jump. You can tell I have some practice fighting Legion, though, probably, based on the way I'm moving with this. There we go. Legion's dead. And that's one portrait cleared. Because if you beat the boss, the portrait counts as completed whether you've done everything else in it or not. Oh, right, you can only access that room from the other side. Son of a... Hang on. We have one more thing to go check before we leave here. This is why this place is annoying. Once again. But on the bright side, very soon we will not have to look at this place ever again. Hopefully. Well, aside from looking at its equivalent soon. Selen's Bangle. That's not a bad accessory. Not vital, though. Blue Rupee. I'm so glad I climbed up here for a Bloopy. Joyous day. Why am I even walking back? Oop.
You're back.
Oh, Draco didn't even have Undead Perish till now. That's a yikes.
Well done.
Large Soul of a Proud Knight, and bonus star. Oh, right! Astral's also doing Overcooked. I completely forgot about that because I hadn't seen a single check go to it or from it yet, so I completely blanked that that was in the pool. Is there anything new in the shop? Yeah, we have powdered milk we can buy now. And that's it. Okay. Stock my potions and such.
Thank you.
Forward, down, back, forward, Y. There we go. Spinning art quest completed.
You're back. You're excellent.
Stargust Suppressor, okay. Now I need to do it 3 times. It's worth noting that I'm bad at inputs like this. Ah! The third one's just not landing now. Part of the problem is I'm pretty sure I keep hitting up on the D-pad while I'm trying to do the roll. And that's part of why it's not landing. Problem is I need to do it 3 times in a row in front of him. This quest is a pain in the butt to do, in case you haven't gathered that. might be able to do the martial art one. Okay, yeah, that does still count even without the item. For some reason, I thought you needed the item for that. Oh no, that's because it was bugged in my second test save. That's why. So we can turn that quest in too and hopefully get something useful out of that for somebody. Core blocks. I think that's important for Celeste. It's been long enough since I played Celeste that I do not remember. 2. One thing I did in one of my test saves is I actually turned off up on the D-pad until I did this. Removing a way that the D-pad could fuck with me. This is why I don't play fighting games. Well, one of the many reasons I don't play fighting games. There we go.
You're back. Well done.
And it was just a piece of heart. Well, at least I got those quests out of the way. What other quests could I possibly do while I'm thinking about it? I think I could go get... No, the things that could curse me aren't in any of the areas I can get to right now. I don't have access to where the dodo is. I could reduce my MP. I can definitely do that. I need to wait just a little bit so I can throw one more cross, and then I should have lowered it enough. There we go.
You're back. Excellent.
2,000 hero gauge, okay. These are not exciting quests by any means, but I figure if I get them out of the way now, it'll be easier to do everything else. We don't have javelin, so I can't master that. I might be able to do enough math to get low on money.
I'll make you a deal.
I don't remember if you have to hit absolute 0 or if you just have to get really low. But I'm gonna sit here and do some maths in my head for a second. Combat boots are nice to have, so I'll grab them anyway. Knife. I already have a castle map. Let's grab a powdered milk, because that'll bring us really close to the amount. Let's see if 19 gold is enough, or if I have to hit 0. Yeah, I have to hit 0. Okay. That means it's time to do some selling and do some funny numbers some more then. I'd sell the moldy bread, but I need to keep it for a different quest. We probably could get another moldy bread, but let's just hang on to the one we have, rather than risking things. So what else do I have that sells for a weird amount at all here? I don't need this, so we can sell that. Brings us to 144. Means if I resell that, it's us to 287. No, there's not really a way I'm going to be able to make the numbers completely work here. I need to go grab a couple coins. Okay, and I immediately got the pinwheels I just sold back. Which is why it didn't matter that I sold them. Oh, you can get stuck on the wrong side of this, by the way, and soft lock yourself immediately. Just a fun fact. Totally not saying that because I did that I didn't want to test saves at all or anything. No, no, that would be silly. How would I manage to do something that foolish? No. No. You know, sometimes I wonder why I do visual jokes like that when people can't see them. Answer because they make me laugh, but at the same time, it's less effective than it otherwise would be. Trying to grab just a little bit of cash. We've got 287 right now. Actually, what am I doing? I can just do this. Just keep respawning the same pot over and over to get my money rounded off. I need single coins, game. Single coins. That one, yeah. One more of those, please. Thank you. There we go. Now we have one less floaty number to worry about. I should be able to do the maths from there.
I'll make you a deal.
So we got 310. The 10 might end up being an issue, though. All because I picked up that 110 coin, I think this whole thing's still fiddly. Yeah, because that would make it 435. That doesn't work. I need to go grab money still. God damn it. All because I picked up a 10 coin because I forgot which color was which. That's all it takes, is just a little bit of unchecked greed and everything goes wrong. Let that be a lesson. A pair of spiked boots. Where is the nearest lamp to hit? I think it's the wrong way. Yeah, I definitely went the wrong way for having a lamp to hit. Silly me. Thankfully, these guys drop coins too, but now I picked up a single coin, so now I've got another... That's why some of these quests are a nightmare, but I also did this to myself on purpose because I thought it'd be funny. And at the end of the day, I think I'm correct. I think it is funny. But at the same time, god damn it, past me. I've done it to me again. So there are other worse quests I could have turned on. So I'm kind of glad that I didn't do that to myself, at least. But I do now need to pick up a bunch of single coins again. Like, it arguably doesn't matter if I get a bunch of hundreds or 50s. It's just the 10s and 1s that are the problem. Because I just don't have anything that'll sell for nice round numbers to make that work. Well, welcome to basic math in Castlevania. Oh. Vika found his own strength upgrade. That's nice. That moment when the tracker is more interesting than the game you're playing. That's just how it be with Archipelago sometimes. Unfortunately, that's not an option. Also, I'd like to think I'm worth more than that anyway. You know, if I had the ability to switch right now, I probably would go for that idea. Oh, goddammit, that was a 1 coin again. Brain, stop just picking up the coin you see. Okay, we just need 9 more blue coins and we're good. I just need to avoid picking up the 10 coin again, and then we'll be fine. That's the 10. No. Silver bad. I said silver bad. It's either the brown or the silver coin that's bad. Either way, it's not the blue coin, so I don't want it. Eventually, I will make this work. I ended up with another 50, but that's okay. You know, I should have went for the 777 one at the same time in hindsight. Technically, I still could. But that one I'll probably just do off camera, because that's going to be even more of a nuisance to arrange at this rate. I really should have found a room that had more lamps than this in it, that were convenient to hit for an idea like this, but, well, hope you like these 2 screens, because we're going to be here for a minute still. I just need 4 more blue coins. And I need to then remember that I've got enough blue coins. Three more to go. And then I'll have a nice even 1,000, so it'll actually be very easy to just go to 0 money. Then we'll sell some of the extraneous crap I bought just to do this after we turn the quest in. So I believe you have to have absolute 0 money when you talk to him. You cannot just go back up immediately, or you will end up failing to fulfill the requirement. There we go. We have what we need. And a magical ticket back, so I can't possibly do anything else. Just give me a Kestis. There we go. Quest completed.
You're back. Well done.
And it was for a whole 10 Deku nuts. Hooray! Most expensive nuts in the world. That's Archipelago, baby! Now we have lots of money again. I'm not gonna worry about making even more money than that right now. I was kind of hoping that padding the time out a little bit that way would lead to something happening, but it's looking like that's not gonna be the case. Is there any other quests I can pull out of my ass right now? Technically, I can do the 500 enemies, but I'm not gonna do that right now. That will be even more tedious, and you don't want to see that. I do have the cross in the Bible, but I don't have the holy water, so I can't do that one. So I don't think I have the holy water. Did I find? Nope, I did not acquire holy water at any point without knowing it. Maybe get me to 30 constitution. Now, I don't have enough ways to get more constitution either. Back over my relics. Am I missing anything that I can actually do? You know, there's something I've always wanted to try, actually. Of course, I have to do it backwards, which is going to be a whole thing. So it's going to be... that. Nope, you can't roll through there. Since you go lower, I wasn't sure if the rolling evasion was gonna let you squeeze through there. It would have been really funny if it worked. But I think since he hops up a little bit, it doesn't work. Oh, Jonathan, if you just had working knees, we would be in business right now, bud. But nope, your knees don't fucking work. Just have Charlotte just kick him through the damn hole, it'd be fine. Yeah, because over here was 13th Street. And up here we just finished was Nation of Fools. So yeah, no, we're BK'd. We can't do anything else now, then. Because I don't know of any ways to trick getting through the tunnel at either end there, nor do I know any workarounds for the other problem. Order of Ecclesia is fun. There is a randomizer for it as well that I tried, and it's okay randomized. It didn't quite feel as good because there's not as much tech that develops from it being randomized. It is kind of still just straightforward. But you can end up with some very interesting situations with it. Ah, okay, you've tried that already. But it is still a fun game to just kind of hop through. I still debate with myself whether that's the easiest one or not. Honestly, all the DS and Game Boy Advance Castlevanias are pretty easy. Which is why I usually recommend them as like an entry-level Metroidvania for the most part. Because the pathing's not too complicated, and with the amount of healing items you can just stock constantly, the games themselves are pretty easy. As long as you're willing to just fiend through the healing potions to deal with problems. Yeah, since we're BK'd and I don't really want to switch back to tactics and end up with an awkward split in the VOD, we'll just go ahead and wrap up here and pass things on. Let me just see who's on doing what and figure out from there what we're gonna do. While I'm figuring this out, the upcoming days, by the way, are both an hour later starting because of the fact that there are now collabs both days, which it was more likely going to be collab days both times anyway, but it was still a little up in the air what was actually going to be happening there. So we're going to be playing Blood Typers with a bunch of people tomorrow. That'll be at 3 instead of 2. And then I'm playing a bunch more multiplayer Next Fest demos on Saturday instead, and that'll also be at 3. Next week we go back to more or less normal schedule, where we'll be doing... I was gonna say Final Fantasy IV, but I remembered I was gonna take a break in between there. So we'll figure out what I'm doing for Monday, hopefully by Monday, and we'll either start Hades 1 or Dark Souls 3 on Tuesday. Though we may end up swapping any of the things next week around for Archipelago checks, depending on how things are looking for the Archipelago by that point. Because I do not quite have the same amount of open schedule time necessarily to go hard on the Archipelago like I did last time. Let's see. My list's not telling me anything. Okay, that's all in good order. That classic moment where I'm pondering whether which is lying to me or not. Let me see where these are at and determine whether they're going to be ending soon or not, and then we'll figure it out from there. That'll be the easiest answer. Well, that answers that question. That's an offline screen. Okay, that's one solved. This is why you check first before you send anywhere. Because that would have been awkward. The other one I was going to pick ran away. There they are. What are you in the middle of right now? Okay, that's an interesting lineup. It'll be a coin flip between these two then, and we'll let fate decide where we go. Okay, fate has chosen that. Understood. Because I gave the coin a choice between either someone else who was doing Next Fest or someone else who was doing Archipelago right now, because we've been kind of between both this week. And the coin chose was somebody doing Next Fest. So we'll go see Char, who's one of our wonderful friends, and we will see about what we end up getting done tomorrow. And I may very well do some Archipelago checks either before or after Blood Typers tomorrow, depending on how long Blood Typers goes, I will say that. There's also a likely reality where checks happen off stream, like I told you all before. I'm going to try to make sure that the end of each of my games appears on stream, but I cannot 100% guarantee that, because things may end up happening a specific way. It be what it be. But thank you so much for taking the time to be here, Argo. Thank you again for that raid. I much appreciate it. I know I stumbled my words a little bit when y'all got here, but being mid-explanation, you know, things happen. But yeah, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Be good to Char, she's good people, and I'll see you next time. Good night, everybody. I should have actually did that when the timer went, but, you know, you'll figure it out. It'll be fine. It will be going in 2 seconds. Goodbye, everybody.